A big night for Alex Sarr goes to waste because of one critical mistake the Wizards made late here in this one as they drop their 7th in a row, lose to the Clippers tonight.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
DC family, you're locked on to the Washington Wizards, where you're part of our family. We thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day, alongside the DC sports content creating savant Abdullah Ayubi. I'm Ben Strober, and I cover the Washington Wizards for Roundtable IO. We are live from Capital One Arena following the Washington Wizards 110-106 loss to the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers sweep the Wizards in a 5-day span in a very, very entertaining game, to say the least, AB, but one super critical mistake from the Wizards doomed them tonight. A big night for Alex Sarr goes to waste.
Yeah, it was tough. On MLK Day, we couldn't get it done. It was a late game. Miscommunication on the box out. James Harden missed 2 free throws in a row. Then it was tipped and got his own rebound, and Wizards ended up losing 106-110. I will say defensively, you only gave up 110, so there's a positive. There's your silver lining. But, Ben, James Harden, it's different watching it in person compared to watching it at home. But those foul calls that he's getting, I mean, tonight he had, if I'm looking at it correctly, 20 free throw attempts, Ben. He was 14 of 14 from the line the first half. He finished with 36, 7, and 9. And tonight they also didn't have Kawhi Leonard, Jordan Miller. It was funny, we had a group of boys right next to us that was more intrigued about Jordan Miller than actual the Clippers itself. But overall, a good tank loss. And Alex Sarr, I mean, you can't say enough nice things about him, his performance tonight. 28.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Bub Carrington, a good game as well. This is a game where obviously 7 losses in a row, it does suck, but you were competitive. You didn't let James Harden just do whatever he wants. I saw Jameer Watkins guard him. Keyshawn George at times was just trying their best to limit James, and not many people can do it. That's not 2018 Harden, but he can still go out there and give you 30 and 10. And I'm happy about the development from our young guys. Trey Johnson, 15 points tonight. He shot 3 of 7 from three-point land, and Trey's getting more comfortable game by game, man. You can clearly see it, but overall, a great tank loss.
Yeah, it was competitive, but at the end of the day, I'm a bit disappointed in this one because I feel like this was a real opportunity to kind of get off the schneid. I don't want to see this team lose 10 games in a row. I'm fine with plenty of losses. Losing 10 in a row is a little bit tiresome, a little bit exhausting, to say the least. We already dealt with that once this year, dealt with it twice last year. And it stinks because a critical mistake was made by the Wizards, as I mentioned, by failing to block out James Harden late in the game there. That's something that just seems inexcusable, something that has to be done on any given opportunity. And obviously, you don't expect Harden to miss both free throws when he gets to the line there. But this was a real opportunity for a win for your young players because you had big performances from Alex Sarr with 28 points tonight. Keyshawn was relatively good, a little bit inefficient tonight, and him taking that 30-foot shot to try to take the lead with 18 seconds left. I don't love that shot for him, but kind of a wild sequence there, and Washington misses a pretty good opportunity to get the win in this game. I had a good feeling that Washington was going to compete hard in this game. I had a feeling they'd actually win this game, and they gave themselves about as good of a chance as you could have to win in the game, but just that one little mistake, that's something that this youth is going to experience. You're going to experience these teaching moments like that for this Wizards team, and tonight, that's a big bite that gets taken out of you by failing to do something simple as that. Just block out the shooter at the free throw line, because there was a real opportunity there to get one more possession only down by 2 and let your young guys go to work, see if somebody can go at it. But doesn't end up happening tonight. It's just the way it went down. Going to have to learn from it, AB.
Another silver lining, Ben. We lost, therefore we're still up there in the tank odds, but also the Clippers won, therefore they're ruining OKC's first-round pick, so we're playing chess, not checkers here, but go ahead, Ben.
Well, it's another thing from this game, because you were on the emphasis on Harden's free throw count. Washington got to the line for 22 attempts today, and Harden got to the line for 20 himself. That's absurd.
Insane.
It is insane, but it says a lot about Washington's ability to defend. I saw Keyshawn on multiple occasions go after James Harden. I'm glad that he wasn't shying away, but there's something to be said about D'ing up on James Harden in this league. He's very difficult to stop. He uses his body to create separation, draw contact, and it was one of those nights where you didn't have a big whistle going in your favor, obviously, but it's not the reason they lost. There were plenty of opportunities for the Wizards to win this game, and turnovers were killer in this game once again. After a couple performances where you started to see the team not struggle with the turnover bug, it was back tonight. They had 19 turnovers in the game. There was one span in that fourth quarter where they turned the ball over on 5 of 6 possessions. It was sloppy out there, but Los Angeles gave you plenty of opportunities to go and win this game, and the Wizards could not capitalize on it.
The Clippers themselves had 16 turnovers, Ben, and it's frustrating going back to the James Harden free throws, because I understand the whole idea you have to give the shooter space to let them land. But in my opinion, Ben, that shouldn't be a flagrant foul given. I think it was it Keyshawn Jameer, one of them that was
It was Watkins.
It was Watkins, yeah. And it's just like, what can the guy do? Like, he's trying to contest the kid, and it's just James Harden. He's one-on-one. It's tough stopping him. But going back to the Wiz, Keyshawn tonight, 18.6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. The inefficiency, again, I'm not concerned about it, because there's going to be nights where he may not be scoring 20 points, but he's going to impact the game on the defensive side of the ball, on top, also the offensive side of the ball as well. Chris Middleton, 11.5 rebounds, 5 assists. We had some celebrities in the house, Ben. John Barthol, the Punisher, Jalen Lane from the Commanders, so that was cool. And we had quite the crowd on MLK Day, so shout out to that. And it's fun that we're playing like a game where we can leave around 6:30, 6 o'clock, Ben, because we're so used to leaving the arena at 10 p.m. But I think obviously it is frustrating that the way you lost, because that was a game where you thought the Wizards could win and snap the streak. But again, this Clippers team, they're still trying to go out there and fight and make a play-in, or at least try to get into the play-in with this competitive Western Conference. And Keyshawn George also hitting that half-court buzzer at the end of the third quarter. I thought it looked good, but after replay, it was not good. He got it off. Bub Carrington, Ben, 17.6 rebounds, 7 assists. I really can't wait till Trae Young's on the floor to see how Bub Carrington's game will look like. A lot of people will say his efficiency or his usage will decrease. I don't know, maybe they can complement each other really well. Trae Young was wearing an Allen Iverson Georgetown jersey tonight, which was awesome. Love seeing Trae just with his teammates after every timeout, getting off the bench, first one off the bench. I can't say enough nice things today about Jameer Watkins as well. 19 minutes, only scored 1 point, but 7 rebounds, and did his best trying to limit James Harden. And JC, 9 points, 4 rebounds. But Alex Sarr, Ben, I mean, the All-Star voting came out, and it sucks that he's not going to be one, unfortunately, but there's going to be a case next year when you hopefully land a top 4 pick and you have Trae Young running the point, that he's going to make a push for being that starting center.
I think there's going to be a realistic opportunity for Sarr to make the All-Star team next year. And tonight, he was awesome. I love the way he came out the gate aggressive and took it right at Zubac early in the game. He finished with 19 shot attempts, and that's pretty much par for the course. Good efficiency for him on 10 of 19 shooting. He was a plus 11 with 1 block in the game and 6 boards as well. The rebounding, it's getting a little better with Sarr, but I'm not sure what kind of upside we see in terms of his overall ability to rebound. I don't know if he's ever going to be elite as a rebounder unless he really, really fills out his frame. But then maybe you're sacrificing him not having that speed and athleticism that's really important to his offensive game. Another thing that I kind of wonder after tonight is this.
Yeah, mine didn't crash too. Yep, sorry guys, I think we lost Ben there. His computer unfortunately died. But as Ben was saying and I was saying, that Keyshawn George taking that 3-point shot was a little deep, and I think we're hoping, sorry for the oh, here we go. We got Ben on the phone.
Yeah.
What's up, Ben? Can you hear me?
Sorry, everybody. My computer died, which I knew was going to happen at some point. But, yeah, the battery really got drained quickly there. The point I was trying to make, I'm not sure where the closer is on this team. And I think we haven't seen a whole lot of clutch. There's a lot of people in the hallway, AB, so you got to go.
No, you're good. You're good. To go off your point, yeah, you bring up a good point where you don't know if you have a closer yet, and it is year 2 for George and Sarr. And I was saying, like you were saying, Ben, that shot that he took, that 3-point shot at the wing, didn't need it. It was very deep, and I understand Keyshawn's able to make that shot, but man, I think he could have got a way better look. And maybe that closer is Trae Young. Maybe it is a top 4 pick, or maybe another year of development. You can have Keyshawn and Sarr be that closer, but this is what it's all about, trying to find your identity of year 3 of a rebuild. And again, you're not supposed to win. We're not going to win. That's the reality of the situation. Would it have been nice? Would it have been nice to end the streak tonight? Obviously, on MLK Day, who wouldn't want to do that? But it was tough, and this Clippers team, even though without Kawhi Leonard, they're still really good. Zubac was giving Sarr some fits in the paint. Jordan Miller, John Collins are very high flyers, and you just move on, and now you're 10-32. There's still progress, because I go back to the fact that at this point, 2 years ago, it was 7 wins. Last year was about 6 wins, if I'm not mistaken. So you take how you can get them, and then you play Denver on Thursday, and you have a matchup against a Nuggets team without Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray and Tim Hardaway Jr. went off. So we'll just see how they bounce back on Thursday.
It's going to be interesting to see. And tonight was one of those opportunities where you have your young guys playing in this clutch situation. You want to see if anybody can rise to the occasion. Saw a couple of the big moments. The Bub Carrington step back 3 to tie the game was a nice moment. You saw some clutch defense. The Wizards trying to lock up James Harden late in the game, because when James Harden has the basketball in his hands late in the shot clock, late in the game, he's going to go to the hole and draw contact. That's what ended up happening in this one. A missed opportunity, but hopefully you're going to see some more of those at some point in the season where your young guys get a chance to come up in a big way. Tonight, they didn't get the job done.
Yep. Next on Locked On Wizards, we'll break down more of Alex Sarr's big night, and looking forward to the Nuggets matchup. New year, new systems. This is a time where a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there has to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communication is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. I love how simple Quo makes everything. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number, so nothing gets missed. It works right from your phone or your computer, and you can even keep your existing number. And Quo's smart AI tools automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps so details never slip through the cracks. It's no surprise, Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this year the year where no opportunity, no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnba. That's quo.com/lockedonnba. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Back here on Locked On Wizards with the great Ben Strober, who is on his phone. Unfortunately, his computer did die, but the grind don't stop. Ben, Alex Sarr tonight. Ben, talk to me more about his performance.
I just love the way he jumps out the gate with physicality, because I think the most important thing for him having these big nights is that he gets going early. I think a lot of the nights where he's been relatively quiet, it's been because he's been shied away from the matchup early on in the game. You'd like to see him build his confidence as the game goes along. Today, he just came out there and he played with physicality. He played with intensity. He took it to the hole early. He took it often. And I love to see those sequences where he demands the basketball. Because when you're a 7-footer and you have that space on the floor, you need to demand for the ball. And I think back to one instance in the first quarter where he was on the left elbow, and you saw Brook Lopez, who unbelievably still in the league at this point, playing in his 18th season, I think. He was sagging off Alex Sarr a little bit, so he demanded the basketball. Trey Johnson does a good job of recognizing it. He gets the ball to Sarr, and the catch-and-shoot mid-range shot looked good. You like to see Sarr show that ability to stretch the floor a little bit and even play from the mid-range. There was one point in the season, he's not currently leading that anymore, where he was one of the top players in terms of elbow points in the NBA. So I like to see the way he's developed his game, but physicality is the #1 thing for him. He's not even really playing that much right now, and I don't even have it on me how many total minutes he played in this game, but he goes long stretches of these games.
31, Ben.
So 31. He goes long stretches of these games where he's not even out there. He had 24 at one point, I think, in the third quarter, and then you didn't see him for an extended stretch until later in the fourth quarter, gave him the opportunity to close out the game. You could easily see a 30-plus, 35-plus point performance from Alex Sarr if you were playing 38 minutes in a game. Now, I don't think that's even going to end up happening this year. I think they've been pretty cautious with his minutes because of the calf injury he sustained earlier in the year, and obviously this team isn't actively trying to win that much. But I'd like to see him get the runway at some point to go off and give you like a 40-point performance, because I think it's definitely possible of Sarr.
So do you think, man, and you kind of answered it, the decision making behind not letting him play for long periods of time or taking him out is due to the fact that it's majority of the calf injury on top of you also want to tank?
I think it's part of it. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Keefe said that Trey Johnson and Alex Sarr were on minutes restrictions. We weren't even aware of that, but he kind of just clarified that after Josh Robbins had asked the question in the press conference. So it's interesting, but like I try to take notice of things they do in the rotation, and I don't think we can really buy a lot into what we see rotationally because they do so many different things on any given night. Like you saw a ton of Jameer Watkins minutes tonight, which I thought were actually really effective. I like the way he got after it defensively, but like that's the expectation for Jameer Watkins. So he continues to show what he can do on that end. You saw a pretty extended Will Riley minutes tonight. He's been cold with his shot, so hopefully you see him get it together at some point in the near future here because he hasn't looked great offensively. He's just looked a little bit overmatched in the past couple of weeks. Maybe he ends up getting a stint with the go-go at some point just to get that confidence back offensively. I like to see Riley out there. I like that he's competing, but things just haven't really gone his way offensively and defensively. He's a little bit of a liability at this point early on in his career, but there's plenty for them to work on. And the rotations, they're going to switch up often. They'll go 10 deep on any given night, and you just never know who's going to get their name called to play those extended minutes. So it's a little bit tough to read where this team is rotationally, but Sarr, not going to play more than 30 in a game, most likely. Trey, how many minutes did he end up playing tonight, AB?
30.
So he played exactly 30. That seems to be the limit that you get at there.
Yeah, and Johnson, now that we talked about Sarr, Ben, I mean, he just looks more comfortable every single game, and it's starting to look like once this kid gets a guy in Trae Young back on the court that he'll be able to just thrive off of a pure point guard and his floater game, Ben. I mean, this kid does not miss floaters. It's so nice. And then he also had a career high in assists. I saw your tweet, Ben. He had 5, and it's growth. And coming out of the draft, it was, oh, he's a scorer. He can score at all 3 levels. But then the playmaking, it's underrated. You see the flashes. Talk to me about Trey Johnson's playmaking, what you saw today.
It's getting a lot better, and you're seeing the basketball IQ on full display. We know that he has a lot of intellect when it comes to playing the sport. He lives and breathes it. He's always been that way throughout his basketball career, but we're now starting to see that materialize as a playmaker here in his rookie season. It took some time to get used to playing on the basketball for Trey Johnson, but I love the way he's developed that aspect of his game. You saw last week against Sacramento where he made the really nice wraparound pass around DeRozan to get the ball to Sarr. He's just starting to see the game slow down a little bit more for him. I see him actively looking for those guys cutting the basket, looking for Sarr when he comes off a back screen or something like that. I think Johnson's just starting to understand the speed that you have to play at this NBA level with, and that's why he's gotten a lot better as a playmaker. That's going to benefit him a ton because obviously everyone's going to respect his jumper from the outside. Teams are already respecting his jump shot from the outside. So when you have guys pressing up on you from the 3-point line, 5 feet out or beyond, you're gonna have to take the ball inside. You're gonna have to get the ball inside the arc and find ways to score then, or sometimes play make for others because we've seen him utilize the mid-range shot to be part of his game, pulling up at the elbow, knocking it down. That's a crucial aspect of his game. But if guys start to close in on that, you got to be able to find your big and Alex Sarr down low. He's doing a much better job of that recently.
Yeah, I'm excited for Trey Johnson's future here in Washington. I think till this day, you still got to steal at number 6. And when you are healthy next season, when you have the expectations to compete, he's gonna look a lot different in his game. When we come back, we're gonna do your favorite segment of the Locked On Wizard channel, which is letting it all out right here next. This episode is brought to you by TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take your own life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish without the stress of guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file you for last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. Got a fun edition here on Locked On Wizards post-game. Ben's computer unfortunately died, so we appreciate you guys for being patient. But enough of me talking, Ben. It is the best segment of all Locked On Network, the Let It All Out. And, of course, who else can we do it? Who else can we not start with than Locked On Law? That 30-foot three from Keyshawn when they needed it to tie the game is unacceptable. Yeah, I definitely think, Ben, that you could have taken a better shot there, but I feel like it's just all you got the heat in the moment. Keyshawn can't shoot it from the outside. He's a young guy. He's definitely bounced back from it, no? Trying to see. Here we go. And don't give me any tanking BS on that one. Yeah, it definitely looked like tonight, Ben, they were trying to break the streak, but again, the Clippers team, James Harden is a really good player. Also, the NBA can piss off with giving James Harden that many free throws. Yeah, it's getting to a point where it's just frustrating every night when you're playing against him. It's garbage brand of basketball. 99 Brando 99 says, Keefe has got to go. It's time. I mean, tonight, I think Coach Brian Keefe, if you want to give him credit to something, you can obviously see the development of the young guys in Trey Johnson, Alex Sarr, year two. And maybe the decisions and substitutions at the end where the boxing out, the rebounding, having Middleton guard, I think one of their bigs, I guess you can say that's malpractice, but again, go ahead, Ben.
What was so bad about Keefe tonight? What's the fan perspective here? Maybe you can find a comment that tells me, because I don't necessarily see why this game is on Keefe. Like they're using a lot of different guys in the rotation. That's normal. That's what they've done all season. They simply didn't block out James Harden at the end of the game. Maybe you could fault him because they didn't slow things down a little bit there at the end of the game, but I feel like it's a teaching moment for these young players where they didn't come through, and it's not something that necessarily is going to fall on the hands of Keefe every single night. Maybe he could have been better in some of these situations, but I think to really blame Keefe late in this game for what happened, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to me, but maybe I just have a different perspective than everybody else.
Yeah, I was just trying to be nice. I mean, what do you guys want Coach Brian Keefe to do? Go out there and box out Zubac himself? I don't know. Free Ishmael, what's up, Ish? Questionable Harden calls SMH. Yeah, that's the theme. That was definitely one of the themes of the night. Robin Walker, 7428, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing to Locked On Wizards, says, disappointing, but a great tank loss. Groovy Entertainment says, isn't that what we wanted? Yeah, we've been begging for losses where you're competitive, but tonight, it would have been nice to win on MLK night, man. It would have been. John Hipkins, 6255, says, great game today, very competitive. Chuck Best says, what's up, DC family? What I missed? Turned the game on when Harden was shooting a free throw, tied at 106. What happened? I'm pretty sure if we turned the game on at any points of the game, you would have saw James Harden at the free throw line. Veg Femgo says, Harden shooting free throws all game. I got to find one that's not hard. Okay, 99 Brando says, Keefe has got to go. It's time for a lot of reasons. The rotation makes zero sense, not putting in Bagley for the rebound, and more poor choices. I will say, I understand you. I get that point, but again, James Harden being able to get it, you always have to box out the free throw shooter. If a guy's in front of him, I think he's going to get that. They're going to get the deflection. It's going to come to them. Go ahead, Ben.
I don't think you're banking on James Harden to miss multiple free throws there. Like, he missed the first one. I thought for sure he'd make the second. And obviously you have to be prepared in any situation. But honestly, you're probably anticipating Harden makes both of those. You're down by 4 in that situation. So you need to go down and either get a quick 3 or get a quick 2, whatever you want to do offensively. I think that's the reason Bagley wouldn't be on the floor for that situation. But, like, I understand that. You'd want one of your better rebounders out there in a situation like that. But then you can't risk not having Sarr out there. I guess he'd be suggesting you'd have double big in the lineup right there, which I'm kind of proponent of that they should try more of that at some point to see Bagley and Sarr share the floor a little bit together. But we just haven't really seen anything like that at any point. But I don't know. I don't really have an issue with how it went down in terms of rotation today.
I'm at the point, Ben, where I want to see everything. I want to see Trey take 100 shots a game. I want to see Sarr just get the ball. Like, there was a play I loved how the team noticed that Sarr was getting guarded by James Harden, and instead of being reluctant and passing it around the arc, they said, hey, we see Sarr. He's way bigger than that guy. He gets the ball, posts up, one move. James Harden just doesn't play any defense, and easy layup. So those are the things that I love to see from Sarr. Uptown Dre, yo, my brother. Salute, my brother. Solid play. The young getting better. Sarr stepped up. Keyshawn missed a few clutch shots for the lead, but he'll get better. The team is playing together as a unit. Harden, 18 of 20. Yeah, that's something. Wash Wiz Kid. What's going on, man? I love the profile pic. Thoughts on Caleb Wilson / Alex Sarr combo? Draft season is coming up, Ben. We love talking about the draft because it always appeals to our Wizards. Caleb Wilson, you love the athleticism, but what would you think of a front court duo of Sarr and him?
I haven't watched enough of Caleb Wilson. I know that he's a freak athlete. I've seen the highlights from him. Obviously, from what I've heard and what I've read about him, is that he doesn't stretch the floor. He can't really shoot, but Sarr obviously can do that. So it'd be an interesting dynamic to see those two out there. Wilson is intriguing because of the pure athleticism. That seems to be the mold that guys like in the NBA. You take like the most athletic player you could find that has great offensive tools to his game and see how you could mold him into something special. It's going to be interesting, but I can't really give you a definitive opinion on it because I haven't sat down and just like watched him start to finish in a single game. Like the only guy I've really got to see do that so far is AJ DeMonsta and Darren Peterson, and both of them were awesome in those games. But I know Wilson's a really intriguing prospect, so I'm definitely going to watch some more tape as we get closer to it. So I'm not quite there yet on thinking about that combination, but it is intriguing.
Yeah, I think Wilson, you hit the nail on the head with his athleticism. I want to see more of it during March Madness because that's when it truly matters. So it's going to be fun. You just hope to land a top 4 pick for sure. Baltimore Get Up says, just curious, what's going on with your hair, Ben? You want to explain?
I don't know.
Dude, if anyone my hair, guys, like I have like, it's like a nest. I'm down bad, guys. Okay.
I've been up since 4. That's probably why.
Nah, yeah, we'll cut you some slack. Bub hustled his ass off to get back and make a block when no one else did. He plays hard. Yeah, that was an impressive play, Ben. I loved it. The crowd was hyped. It was good to see, and I think it was off a turnover too. So the fact that Bub Carrington, a guy who struggled to start off the season, seeing plays like that gives you so much optimism for his future here in DC.
Bub's going to be a long-term piece here in DC. Now, am I saying he's going to be a star or even a starter long-term? No, not necessarily. I don't know that. It's a little bit early to make that decision. But everything to me about Bub Carrington screams he's going to be in the league a long time.
Sorry about that, a little slow there. But yeah, I agree. I think it was blasphemy, Ben, that some people were thinking about trading him because the kid is 20 years old. I think he's a vital piece for this franchise. And once you solidify your starting 5 for next season, he could be a guy that is your 6th man and can thrive in that role. So be patient with the kids, man. You gotta be patient. Sammy the Champy says, funny how the NBA viewed us as a punching bag until they realized what we're doing in acquiring assets and getting ice tray on the cheap. Happy to see them envious. Yeah, it's like day by day, some, or at least like casual NBA fans are starting to realize what the Wizards are doing, and they understand that once they have that top 4 pick, crossing our fingers, they're going to be competitive next year and make a play and push. And from there, you're going to see a lot of development for these young guys. I mean, seeing Keyshawn George already on Reddit, that Knicks fans are already regretting that they traded him away. You love that. This is a guy who can do it all as a 3 on this squad. And Keyshawn might be, at best, he could be a 2 or 3. But when this team is stacked with good players, he'll be your 4th or 5th option. So who knows? We'll just have to see how it all pans out. Michael says the final score tonight was Los Angeles Clippers 110, Washington Wizards 106. It was definitely an eventful night here in the district. Baltimore Get Up says Stephen A thinks we're all trash till he called us when we got Trey. Yeah, I mean, Stephen A Smith, he's a very interesting guy. He should be more worried about memorizing players' names than talking bad about a Wiz, right, Ben?
Wow, that's a crazy poll. I wouldn't even comment on that.
If you know, you know. All right. I think, Ben, unless you want anything else to add, Ben?
I got nothing else to add, but it was an opportunity. Young guys didn't come through. Hopefully plenty more to come.
Yeah, and I want to call this off right now because I know Ben is dying to go home because he has no computer on, and we appreciate you guys' patience. And we also appreciate you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Wizards. Make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Wizards so you get all the latest episodes. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Wizards ad-free, plus members-only Discord access, and more. Head to lockedonwizards.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you the first ever 24/7 National NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA. That's it, folks. Happy MLK Day from me and Ben. we are signing out. Oh, wait, I gotta add the music. Ben's really good at that.
Gotta get that music on the rollout.